Greetings, Enlightened Ones. Thank you for joining your generic store brand Reverend. In today's video, we're going to be going over why psychological horror is my ideal acting style. So before we get straight into the video, if you actually notice that it's a little murky or foggy in here, I actually did purchase a really cheap fog machine to kind of experiment with the films that I'm starting to create now. I just got a really cheap $40 Spirit Halloween fog machine. I bought one of them and it was like defective. It didn't do shit, so I had to like return it and get another one. So that's why it's a little foggy in here. I'm just kind of experimenting. The Ill movie that I've been creating, it's still in the works. I've created a couple more scenes and I'm just kind of keeping a secret. I'm still trying to find a female actress to help me out with the other scenes. And I think that's really all I need, and then I can finish it off and then get it out hopefully before the end of November. I'm not entirely sure though. I'm hoping that's the goal, that I get this film done by November, if not early December, just when it comes to time and everything. So, but yeah, I've been a super busy guy. I've still been doing purgatory. I haven't had a single day off. I literally work 7 days out of the week. So that's why I've been slowing down on videos. Apologize. I've just been super exhausted at even trying to produce anything. I have to do errands. It's just me, myself, and I. So I get super tired. I have nobody to help me with this stuff. So by the time the end of the haunt season is officially over, I'll have a lot more time to focus on my channel here, as well as focusing on other projects that I have in the works. But I'm trying to divide my time a little bit into everything. It's just super hard when you got a full-time job that you don't particularly enjoy. But yeah, so back to the video. So yeah, psychological horror. Why have I chosen this path, or why have I chosen this genre of filmmaking? Well, for one, from what I learned from my instructor, is there's two genres of filmmaking that create the most money. Though money is not the main drive for me, but it is kind of secure in a way though. But I also do very much like psychological horror, which again we'll get into. So there's two reasons. There's money to be had in the horror genre in general, and two, the other one is religion. So according to my instructor, those are the two genres of filmmaking that seem to produce the most amount of money, because it's the most that people seem to enjoy, I guess, by giving money to these projects. I would even argue comic movies, though, produce quite a lot of money. I mean, shit, when we had Endgame for Marvel, whoo-wee, man, I was working at a movie theater, and yeah, that was one of the biggest releases I've ever seen since Star Wars cinemas. So I don't know if I necessarily just agree on just religion and horror being the most top two genres that people will pay to see, because I would argue comics as well, DC, Marvel, that type of shit. But yeah, so the thing is with me is, when I've grown up dealing with a lot of shit, just like you probably have. Everybody's been growing up with a bunch of bullshit in their lives. What fascinates me the most, though, is on a political level, how so many people are divided through politics. And not just politics, but religion as well. These damn politicians and these corporations have done a phenomenal job at dividing the people. Not just here in the US, but globally. And that's why I say geopolitical, or politics on a global scale. And these motherfuckers have divided us for years, and yet everybody seems to turn a blind eye and just constantly attacking one another, and not actually attacking the real issue, which is our fucking governments and these large multi-billion-dollar corporations. Because at the end of the day, these motherfuckers are what's dictating what I can and can't do, what I can and can't see, in some degree, what I can and can't perceive. Whether you want to believe it or not, everything that they do is affecting yours and my life. Shit like BlackRock purchasing loads and loads of real estate so I can't actually, in my lifetime, be able to afford to own a fucking house. You know, I think I know this one. I believe there was a retard by the name of Klaus Schwab that once said, "You will own nothing and you will be happy." And look at everything that we have today. Everything's a subscription fee. I'm living in not even an apartment. It's like a fucking mobile home. It's nice for what it is, but I'm ready to upgrade. This is a very small fucking unit. For somebody that has hobbies like this, I need to have my own studio room. I digress, but the other thing is to, like, buy now, pay later. You will own nothing and be happy. Perfect fucking example. Even in our cinema, every film that is produced, like V is for Vendetta, They Live, all these films are telling you exactly what is going on to your faces. Or even The Simpsons, you know, you always have that like weirdo shit where it's like, oh, The Simpsons have predicted this is gonna happen. It's like because it's because they already knew these things were gonna happen, like these events were gonna happen and play out the way that they do well more in advance. Let's try to reel it back here. So all these weird issues that we're having on a political level, societal level, and people aren't really genuinely making connections with one another, and we're all at each other's throats and not actually pointing fingers at the real fucking problem. I want to question it. I want to question your reality. I want to fuck with what you perceive as your reality. And how do I do that? Psychologically. Through psychological thrillers, psychological horror. It doesn't have to be on a political level. It could be questioning somebody's religion, or, again, questioning somebody's politics or political affiliation, real world issues, or creating something through a character, an actor like myself, that makes people extremely uncomfortable. And I can name a load of topics that make people extremely uncomfortable. But for me, nothing is off the table for me. I'm willing to do anything and everything if it means I get a reaction from people. I don't want to play shit safe. I want to make people the most uncomfortable that they've ever been. And I've gotten inspiration from this idea from movies like Hereditary, Midsummer. Those are some of my favorite psychological horror movies. Ari Aster does an amazing job at that uncomfortable setting that I feel like, even with Midsummer, I think was the best uncomfortable setting I've ever felt in a film. And then if we're talking about acting style, I've said it previously in all my other films, right? I've talked about, I think I've been saying his name wrong, James McAvoy or McAvoy. I don't know. It's really hard to say that last name. Anyways, his acting style is just Oscar level worthy, and it's crazy that he didn't get an Oscar, but it's probably because he probably doesn't align himself much with Hollywood, just like I don't either, which is another thing I'm gonna have to face the reality of, is because I'm so anti-Hollywood and I'm so anti-weirdo shit that's behind Hollywood, and I would like to expose it through my acting style. We already know what goes behind closed doors in Hollywood and shit. I need not have to say anything. You guys know that there's a lot of weird, creepy shit going on with Hollywood, and I'm one of those ones that would be willing to want to expose it through my acting, through my films, on a psychological level. I think that is one niche that I feel like I can do the most. Yeah, I could play as, you know, any other character, but I want to be the guy that makes people fucking uncomfortable. I want to be the guy that people walk out of movie theaters for. And no, I'm not full of myself or a narcissistic type of individual, but that is just what I want the reactions out of people to be with the films that I produce. I believe it's a niche that we're somewhat lacking, and it's kind of growing a little bit, and I feel like people are hungry for. People want to be uncomfortable because it's a form of entertainment that we haven't always seen before. To make people incredibly uncomfortable means I did my job properly as an actor, and I got the message through. If you guys recall, I made a community post that claimed that I want to be the one to depict psychological warfare just as they have done to us, and let's play that game. So that's kind of like my big fuck you to what is pretty much going on in our world. It's like one big giant role play game is kind of what I feel like. I talk about this a lot with society, and I'm not necessarily an anarchist. I don't really necessarily believe in anarchism, but if you really think about it, all the laws that we've created just to shape society so every little person fits into the fucking puzzle, it really does feel like you're playing like a Dungeons and Dragons roleplay sim, and I've just never fully agreed with it. And as you can see, the walls are starting to crumble, and the fall of Rome is inevitable. Whether it be America, EU, Canada, there's a lot of cracks forming that society is becoming more and more unstable. So my gift to what's left of society and what's left of the world is my depictions of really fucked up, brutal, uncomfortable imagery, symbolism. Much like the short film that I made, although I wouldn't say it's uncomfortable to watch, but more intriguing to where you want more. You want to know what the next thing is. the next abstract fucked up thing is. Though, like I said, this film isn't necessarily fucked up, but more of a step into my head sort of video. But I feel like all the other upcoming short films are kind of like that too. When you're so passionate about how things are degrading, then I guess the future projects are more of a depiction of how you perceive life, right? So this is probably just going to be one of many short films that step into my life. But yeah, I think I've done enough rambling. I got to kind of piece this together to where it all makes sense. But yeah, essentially, psychological horror is the path I'm kind of going for in my acting style. So, you know, I don't really have any demos or reels, so that's why I've been starting to create short films instead. Like I said, I'm no filmmaker, so I don't know the best camera angles. But I do know a little bit of some color grading and a little bit of some editing that makes the story that I'm trying to tell believable. I believe there's a lot of people suffering in this world, a lot of people that are unhappy, depressed, mentally fucked up like myself, and they're all craving those harsh realities, but at the same time they want to censor themselves from actually witnessing any of it. Well, I'm glad to tell you that we ain't censoring nothing, because nothing's off the table with this one. I'm here to question you, I'm here to make you pissed, I'm here to make you uncomfortable, because at the end of the day, that's art. And you don't necessarily need to agree with it, but I think you're going to have a level of respect for it. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. I do have another one planned. I'm hoping, because I'm a really busy person right now. I'm really hoping to have it out by tomorrow. It's going to be talking about the goth scene again. I know you guys love it when I talk about that shit, even though I don't necessarily have a whole lot else to say. But this was actually something that was pretty funny that happened over the weekend. And I don't usually try to get into drama with people. Like, I really keep to myself for the most part. But when people have to fucking have an opinion about something, you best believe I'm going to try to shut that shit down. But yes, my lovely flock, if you enjoyed the video, like, share, and subscribe. And if you do have a comment as to my path towards the psychological aspect of the film industry or psychological horror, I'm very much willing to hear you out on it. You guys have a good rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.